monthly
I like
magazine.
that.
So, yeah. So, we got to get that.
They sold me on that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. I'm excited about it. So, well, hey, everybody. My name is Jim Gaston. Welcome to the Reboot. Joining me today is my good friend, Brian Braschi. Brian, what's going on, man?
Not much. We hit the 70s the other day, close to 70 the other day. Now we got about 2 inches of snow on the ground here in lovely Long Island, New York. So Mother Nature's running her course. Yeah.
Good old Cincinnati's not that bad. We had some 70-degree weather on the weekend, but it's probably in the 40s to 50s today in Cincinnati. But as you can see out my back window, I can see grass. That's a positive.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. Always.
Now, what'll be really funny is later on when a bird flies right into that mirrored glass during the show. It'll be really bad. So, well, Brian, a lot of business owners have websites, and many of them think of them as incredible wastes of money. And I'm happy to say that I don't think mine is, right? What about you? How do you feel about yours?
Well, using it as a tool now to get business and convert leads, it's been great, and that's it's an online sales tool. Period.
Man, and we were just talking before the show. Both of us are now generating strong leads from our websites, and you're talking about no contactless business, actually, too, right?
Correct.
Tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we've had leads come in that it could be form fills, but I think probably 60% of them are just phone calls in from SEO. They land on the site, call the office, and I've gotten 3 clients that way that I have not met. I don't know them. We've had conversations. We've gone through the proposal stages all over the phone. No Zoom, no nothing, and they're recurring revenue clients and very, very satisfied. Wrote positive Google reviews and good people.
And I got to tell you, it's kind of sad, but a lot of business owners just hate spending money on their website. They do. They hate it, right? And the reason they hate it is because they feel it's like just a electronic business card, and if you don't have it, people don't take you as serious as if you do have one. It's a necessary waste of money.
And you know what I've seen, at least in my experiences, is it's that same mentality is from those people or businesses that hand you a business card and their email address is, acrepairguy@gmail.com. And it's like, right. So yeah, right. You need to embrace that every aspect of a domain and all the tie-ins you can do with that are countless.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do today, Brian and I, and maybe Dave Luft or not Dave Luft, but Dave Groot might join us or somebody else might pop in. We're going to talk about the essentials you need, 5 essentials you need for your website. So Brian, I'm just going to read them off because I got them right here listed, right? Without a doubt, these are the 5 essentials. And by the way, everybody, I'm kind of winged. I just had rotator cuff surgery, so I'm not moving this arm really good. 5 essentials: a home page, a services or products page, a blog, an about us, and a contact page. And I know everybody just crapped their pants when I said a blog, right? Because I don't have time for a blog, right? Yeah, but these are the 5 essentials to have your website start generating leads for your business. If you don't have these things, it's just not going to be as effective. So I think what we should do is kind of go into each of them, Brian. But do you have anything else would you say there's any other pages that you might want to have, but those are the 5 essentials?
I do see a lot of possibly, resources, that would get into, it could tie into the about us, but I agree for the most part that, these are not only necessary, they need to be present themselves well and have that content that can be seen in seconds. If they don't see what they want, I know what I do when I go to a webpage. I don't see. We're all judgmental. We take that first 3 to 5 seconds. If not, I'm on to the next. So
that's right.
You want to make sure that they're engaging and capturing and what's the goal? Lead conversion, right? Prospect conversion, something. It's
your website. People got to realize the goal of your website isn't just to have an online presence where people can read about you. It's to generate leads. That's what it should be. And so you should handle it as such. Another thing I really think could be a great page to add to most websites, and I have it, is what makes us different, right? And that could be under the About Us section, right? but why are you different from your competition? So a differentiation page is important. But on the homepage specifically, it is essential that you have a great headline. I look at headlines all the time, and it's like I see things like, I'm just going to use my company. We don't do it this way, but
Yeah.
SpliceNet, one source, one choice. What does that mean to the person who's reading it, right? I mean, it's just, it really says nothing to them other than some fancy tagline. And taglines are not what people are looking for. They're looking to be talked to. Would you agree, Brian?
100%. I mean, and
Yeah.
that's like our homepage is you may not know what we do, but if you're searching for something and you land on our page, you know, as soon as that page launches, it's uh, are you a Long Island or New York City business constantly dealing with the same IT issues? Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm,
So
mhm.
so we're asking them a question right there, and they're searching for a reason. So we're trying to engage, in that regard, and it's like I said, we've had a ton of success with that. So
Yeah, yeah. I think you need to be clear about what you're selling, where you're selling it, maybe that's SEO, okay? But also who it's for and how do I get a hold of you if I want to buy?
right,
What's our good friend Donald Miller, right? With
yes,
building a story brand. Great book. If you're watching our stream right now, definitely get a copy of that book. It is an incredible book. By the way, I'm gonna open up my LinkedIn on here in case we have any questions. It's an incredible book, and it actually tells you how to have your website make your consumer, your buyer, the hero of this story that you're trying to convey with them, right, on your website. So, Brian, let's use you for example.
yeah,
What are you selling? What are you selling?
IT services and support.
IT services. Who's it for?
We have a couple of different verticals we support. So and
Okay.
we market an SEO to those verticals, but it's
Right.
clearly defined. Are you an
And
accounting firm that
who could be an area also, right?
mhm,
A demographic,
yeah,
right? So at SpliceNet, we're selling IT services, managed IT services, and support and technology, cybersecurity. But IT services and cybersecurity for law firms in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana is what what we focus, or maybe just for our that website, Cincinnati, right, and Northern Kentucky. And it speaks right to the people that are sitting on that web page that are trying to find that, right? I like it for
yeah,
myself.
no, that's
We're
perfect.
getting ready to do another website for manufacturing and nonprofit. That'll speak very specifically to those groups, nationwide nonprofits with budgets over. I mean, we'll probably want to say that, but you know what I mean.
Yep, yep.
That's what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to give a message on a website. Why? And all because we want them to call or fill out a form, right?
That's and the forms has to be, simple and direct and let they have to know what they're filling out a form for.
Yeah.
You would be, I go on websites and oh, fill this out for, and I'm like, what is this for? Like, what am I getting out of this?
Right.
In our industry, it's the same thing. Like we're saying, you're going to get, top 21 questions to ask your current IT company. We're telling you that report, or if we're giving something an assessment for free or free, hour and a half of whatever consultation, it's defined
That's
and
it.
simple. You
That's
have
it.
your mandatory fields, your required fields, but people like simplicity because if they have 5 lines to fill out, your chances are better of having them fill out the form as opposed to having 10 lines to fill out. If they see
Yeah.
that, they're like, "No, I'm not doing this."
Yeah. And we all know this. The number one surfed page on your website is the About Us page.
The about us page. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Always.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah, always. Always. The About
yeah.
Us page is always the number one surfed page. People want to read about people. So you got to stack that page. The homepage, without a doubt, elements you need on a homepage, a headline that speaks to your audience, a form that gives them something in return other than just contact us, maybe, an ebook or something like that. If I'm a dentist, right? The top three things you can do to prevent tooth decay. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Or the top three reasons it takes so long to get into every other dentist. Make an
Yeah,
appointment.
yeah,
I mean, things that you got to look at the pains of the people that are visiting you and you got to address those pains and give them a reason to say, well, I want to know how to solve that problem. And that's what your forum's going to do. And a telephone number, top, really big, so nobody can miss it and on every page.
Every
It
page.
needs to be there. It needs to be there and never go away on every single page.
Yep.
Nothing worse than landing on a website saying, well, how do I call these guys? Click, 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 click. I got to do 5 clicks to find out a number. I got to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the contact us page. Nothing worse.
You want to convert. You want to that's make it as easy as possible.
Remove obstacles. I think Donald Miller said it in his book. Actually, I'm going to refer back to it. The more calories people burn, in trying to get with you or try to understand your organization, your business, what you do, the more likely you are to lose them.
Yep.
Okay. So how many calories does it take to click 1 click? 1. 2 clicks, 2, 3. So that's the likelihood that you're losing that customer as those clicks go up. And if they have to search, they're just going to give up and they're going to go to another web page.
Yeah.
And you're dime a dozen.
Well, it also goes into, it's kind of a little segue into the business that says, well, I have a web page and I'm not getting anything. And the way we all operate and function is when we're searching for something, what do? We kind of, maybe you skim past the ads at top, you look, maybe you got you Google My Business block right there. And then you go to your top 3, 4, 5, 6 sites. If you're on page, even if you're on page 2, I hate to say it, you may not get a call.
No, you're not going to get a call. If you're not on page 1, six people within the after the advertisement and after the Google My Business, you need to be in Google My, a whole nother conversation. We did that one before.
We did that one, yeah.
But people still go past those things because they're still used to, okay, let me read a little bit because you got more to read at least, right? Mm-hmm. In the what we call the regular search engine results. Okay. So if you're not in that top 6 of those search engine results, just forget about it, And if you don't have this kind of stuff, Google will keep you. If you don't have a telephone number on your website, Google's not going to put you in the top. You got to have that, I mean, they look at that kind of the Google's job is to deliver relevant, actionable content. And so if your website is not actionable and relevant, then they're not going to. What makes it actionable? Forms, headlines, telephone numbers, location, all that stuff, that stuff. Another thing on those forms, Brian, pictures of whatever you're offering, right? So if it's a free report or 2 free hours of something, or maybe I'll come out. I'm a plumber. I'll come out and do an assessment. You want to have some visual representation of that,
right?
You want to give them. You got it. People look at pictures more than they look at words. Look at the McDonald's menu board, right? That the picture of the Big Mac's next to number 1, and they just know, right?
Yeah.
And so they don't read Big Mac; they look at that picture. That's what I want right there. That attracts me.
Yep. Something else too, Jim, is when people are searching, right? So there's a couple of factors here. You're working on your SEO to get your placement where you want it to be, ultimately on page 1, right? But also keep in mind that some people are not building their sites mobile friendly. So then you're coming up at number 6, and they're on their iPhone or their Android, and they're clicking on that, and then they got to scroll, and it's just not clean and friendly. You need to make sure your site is mobile friendly with that phone number prominent on that as well.
Here's what I hear a lot. I hear this more often than I want to hear. Man, I spent $5,000-$10,000 on my website 10 years ago, and we've got nothing from it. I wonder why, right? Yeah. I wonder why. Yeah. It's because you can't just spend the money on a website. You've got to do things to make it valuable. And Google changes the game, and you need to know what you need to do to your website, like mobile updates, SSL certificates, and all that stuff, so that Google will find you, right? And if you're not that person that knows that stuff, guess what you got to do?
Find that person. You got to pay. You got to pay to get up. And even you may have great SEO content. You may have a well-designed site that has a call to action, that has all these items on there as it should, but the web host where that site is sitting is garbage, and their response times and latency is terrible. So that Google's going to say, no, we're not showing people this site because it's too slow. And
Yeah.
that's another factor that. So it's there's a lot of different things that can affect where you are.
Yeah, it really does. And so you get, if you've got a website and you're not getting leads from it, and it's because and you feel like it's a waste of money, well, it's because it is, right? But unfortunately, like anything else, you have to spend money to make money. Okay. And so if it's just stagnant, it does nothing, then guess what? You're going to get nothing.
Yeah,
I,
gone are the
I'm
days
not, and I don't
you
do
come out.
websites, right?
Yeah,
I don't do websites.
I
I
don't
just
either.
do
Yeah,
business advice, right? You
yeah,
know, we know because I spend over $1,000, maybe $2,000 a month on our website alone
mhm.
just to keep it relevant, right?
You have
It's
to.
not throwing
You
us
have
down.
to,
You
because
know
that's our
what?
tool. That's how we're found now. There's no more. You listen. What was it years ago? Yellow page ads, right? You'd get your quarter page in the yellow pages. Your business was through the roof because that was it. People
Mhm.
looked and there was no reviews. There was no nothing. It was wow. Look at this big ad. I'm going to call this guy. You know,
Yeah,
how do you? So the equivalent of that now is investing in that SEO, investing in the website, getting to the top, and then you'll get those calls.
yep, yep. Now, there's one thing that I will tell you that I feel our website is weak on. I think we're weak on our About Us page, myself, right? Our company. We probably need to put some time into rewriting, and I'm actually working with somebody to do that. Okay. So you don't have to write it all yourself. There are plenty of people out there that will interview you and give you copy and put it up there and make it look graphically. It is the next to the homepage and most visited site on your page on your site, and it needs to be a story that talks to more information about you and what you do and who you do it for, not just your history. Yeah, I think you need to have a little history in there. People like to hear that, and history builds trust. Okay, so
Yeah,
it's a trust building
agreed.
page, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point regarding the history, but what we have on our homepage is a stamp. We're in our 25th year. I mean, what does that say for history?
Great, I never thought about that. I never thought about that.
You look at it's a stamp on the website. Like, yeah, we're in business 25 years, so it's our silver anniversary.
Dude, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I'm in the same boat there, but I've never, again, we say people look at pictures more than they look at words.
yep,
You got a paragraph that tells you about the story of 25 years of our history versus a stamp that says 25 years. My eyes are going to the stamp.
yep,
Everybody's eyes are going to the stamp. That's great. That's great stuff
yeah,
right there. Now I said everybody's freaking out about blogs and stuff like that, but that's relevant and updated content. What you're doing when you do that is you're saying, "Hey, I'm an expert. This is the reason we do these podcasts. Okay, is because we're trying to make sure that our audiences see us as experts rather than just like everybody else. So if you're doing blog posts and you don't have to do them yourself, there are Fiverr people on Fiverr that'll ghostwrite for you, and they'll work with you to do it. And that can be relatively inexpensive, but you should keep that up to date. Do you
yeah.
think Google how much does Google look at blogs and look at it from a relevance perspective?
Well, you got to be careful though, because I think it's fairly often, but there's some companies that will write the same content for a lot of
Yeah,
people. So
yeah,
when almost, and I don't want to call it plagiarism, but if
it
it
is.
sees that and then you're going to get dinged for that. Like, no, this is not yours. There's no originality here.
Right.
So like you're saying, Jim, for get a ghostwriter on Fiverr or something to get that content, and we look at everything that goes up and just make sure it aligns with our beliefs, because I don't want to put something up that is I maybe a controversial product discussion, whatever. But yeah, we do our GMB posts every month. They get reviewed and posted. Our daily, semi-weekly blog posts get reviewed and posted. That content is just constantly refreshed. And you go back, you look like, wow, there's a lot of content here.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'll add this, and most people can't do their own blogs, right? But most people don't realize that a blog doesn't have to be 700 words. A blog could be 300 words,
Yeah,
right? It could be
easily.
short, sweet, and simple with a nice picture, something really relevant. Like here's if I'm a plumber, right? How to prevent your pipes from cracking in the wintertime from frozen outside spigots. You know what I mean? Would you read that? I mean, if you had that problem last year, how do I get
Not
that
if I
problem?
lived in Florida, but again,
Yeah, right. I don't know. They had some freezes this year, yeah, but still, I mean, and
Yeah,
that's about that. Also, what you say there is about making sure you're
location.
talking to your audience
Yep,
appropriately.
yep.
Maybe in Florida, maybe there's a better way. But, I don't know. I don't live in Florida, so I can't. So we'll have to ask Brandon next time he's on.
Yeah.
What do you guys do about your spigots? But it builds up your trust and credibility. What about testimonials and references from
Huge,
people? Oh,
huge. I mean,
ooh,
we we run campaigns constantly to collect that, and we want that from people. We want their testimonials, and that content, those client reviews, get put into our branding, not only on the website but into our proposal. When we generate
yeah.
proposals, we add, here's what 30 people had to say about it, or whatever, and
Mhm.
that is just content that is usable everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that's invaluable, right? The idea of the website, first capture their attention, tell them what you do, tell them who you do it for, give them an easy way to contact you, and then make sure that you continue to build that trust and credibility through blogs and through testimonials. And those testimonials, you can't have enough. I'm telling you, my testimonials, when I print them out, I think they're on 6 pages. Now, so there are some people that will read every single one of them, and that's
Right,
cool, right? But if I hand you 2 testimonials, you're probably gonna read them. If I hand you 6 of them, you're
right.
probably gonna take for
Likelihood.
granted that there's some
Yeah.
good you're not gonna read it, you know?
Right. Yep. Yep.
So the more you have, the more you're trusted. If I have a book of testimonials, you're gonna say, "That's a freaking book. I'm not reading that. This guy's got it going on."
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I would definitely have testimonials plastered all over the various pages of your website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have the ability to chat with anybody?
I do. I do. We're changing that out because I didn't like the functionality in the one in the platform we got right now.
Okay.
But somebody comes to the website and there's schools of thought on whether it should prompt them immediately and get in their way.
Well, yeah, exactly. So there's two. Ours
Or not.
kind of sits there and floats, and chat live now, and they have the option to chat live, and we'll take note of that and see. If someone's on the site for 6-7 minutes, we may initiate a pop up and say, let me know if you need a hand with anything, or something
Yeah.
something along those lines.
Yeah.
But the ability for them to know, and what has happened before, yeah, even my own clients have gone to that and chatted, and they're initiating a chat with us. Oh, I need support on this and this. And it's like, okay, let me get you somebody. So it's very convenient, and I think from a marketing prospecting tool, it's another thing to have that is only going to help you.
Yep. I agree. I agree. Anything you can do to set yourself apart for somebody else, from someone else, and you have to realize, think about your own habits when you're looking for something.
Right.
Okay. When you get on your phone, and the vast majority of searches are done from phones anymore. Let's face it. Mobile friendly website. That was a great advice right there, Brian. But if you looking for an auto mechanic, or a landscaper, whatever, right? You're going to go landscaper, and you're going to search. You're going to find results that are usually within the first few. You're going to click on one. If it doesn't speak to you within a split second, you're going to go back and you're going to click on the next one, and keep doing that. So you've got to separate yourself from everybody else by the big bold headline, the big pictures of you and your team. The pictures just can't be generic pictures. They got to talk to whoever is looking at it.
Yeah.
It's a mental game now, is what it is, Brian.
And I think part of what Google does for their analytics, I think that's free. You don't have to pay Google to look at
No.
these analytics and see. You know what? You had someone on the site for 3 seconds and they left. So you can get those metrics and say, okay, so and figure out why
Yeah.
what's not here, and that's kind of what we're talking about.
Well, and that's exactly what we do with our SEO group. They're fantastic, and so I'm pushing them and saying, okay, you know what? We had 100 clicks onto our site this week, right? And 75% of them were new, and only one form fill from all that. Okay, that look, I'm not gonna. Most people would be like happy, right? They'd be really happy about that. But if you really look at it like you and I do, and everybody else in the reboot, we're like, okay, whatever happened to those other 74,
Right.
that landed on the page were brand new, why didn't they click? What do I need to do to make them click? How can I increase it? And so you got to change it. So it just can't be, man, I got a phrase for this, and I hope you understand what I mean. It's the treadmill in the basement collecting dust. It cannot be like the treadmill in the basement
Yeah.
collecting dust where you just hang your clothes over it,
Yep.
hang your old clothes over it.
Yep.
No. Yeah, those are the 5 things. There was a lot
Yeah.
more than 5 things, but Brian, I appreciate it, man.
Same here, Jim.
You, mano a
Always a
mano
pleasure.
today, brother.
Yep. All good.
So listen, everybody, we'll be back again next week, next Wednesday at 1:30 Eastern time. We'll probably have a lot more people as we normally do, but looking forward to seeing you next week on the reboot.
Thanks, guys. See you, Jim.
Take care. Bye, Brian.